Hey folks, welcome to Chaotic TV. You're watching selected games from IronSquid Chapter 2. We are currently watching a map from Group G. In the bottom right corner of Ohana, you see the pink Zerg, formerly Millennium, now playing for Team Evil Geniuses. He is Stephano.
And spawning across from him, we have the blue Terran player, the Game Genie Terran. This is LGIM MVP.
My favorite player, to be honest. I am a huge LGIM fan. MVP
has pulled a lot of crazy wins out of God knows where, and he's done some incredible things. He's also fell on his face in some incredible ways. I remember watching the open bracket of MLG, well, not watching it, but following the results, and he lost 2-0 in the very first round against the 128th seed, some guy named Rumcake. Yeah, I don't know how it happened. I just blew my mind, and I left it at that.
Recently, he's been having some issues in Code S, at least last season, or 2 seasons ago, because since last season was a very quick season, with a pinched nerve in his spine, and I was just kind of thinking to myself the entire time, go get that stuff taken care of. Like, get that therapy or whatever it is for a pinched nerve. I don't exactly know what you do for that.
It's either medication or surgery for a pinched nerve.
Ooh.
But, anyway, Command Center first, no fear. He doesn't care he's playing against a Zerg player who can bailing bust him or any of that stuff. He's gonna get some econ going, and he's MVP, and he just does what he wants. Finishes the ball in with the barracks.
Yep, just like we saw Lucifron doing, but Lucifron went into some interesting two barracks play. But these two players actually might see each other in Code S, because Stephano has an invite to Code S next season.
Yeah, Stephano, he is far and away the best international player who's not Korean. Hands down. Everyone acknowledges it. He's got the best results. He has the most wins against Koreans. It's just he understands the game on a different level than most foreign players, I guess you could say. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't play the same way as all the Korean Zergs, but he plays in a way that wins games, and turns out winning games is good.
Oh, yes, definitely. He does have the 4th most winnings in the world, overall, at least. I don't know about 2012, but he has won a lot in 2012.
Now, right when he busted out, he went from a relatively unknown player to someone who topped the non-Korean winnings chart, I mean, as far as prize money, and he didn't move. He won the most prize money for a long time, for a lot of seasons, and it's just translated into more success for him the longer he played, and now he's getting international recognition, and he's going to try to prove himself in the GSL.
Oh, I'm very interested to see what happens right there. MVP putting down his orbital command at that bottom ramp or whatever, at his natural base. That's the word for it.
Yeah, that one place where you make your first expansion.
And a spine crawler, just for safety's sake, coming out of Stephano.
Yeah, just in case you're playing against the hard AI computer and you need something to help defend.
What is with the supply difference right now?
Supply difference
right now?
Just
queens. Okay, there's 4 queens on the board. That's 8 supply.
Yes, that's queens. That and the time that he took to morph these first 2 orbitals into, well, orbitals from command centers, that takes a lot of supply up, because you're not making SCVs in the time that you're making orbital commands out of command centers.
Well, I think MVP is already on the back foot with this reactor Hellion build because of the 4 queens and the wall-in that Stephano's doing with the Roach Warren and the 2 Evo chambers. I think he's kind of SOL right now.
Making his command center first really defeated the purpose of the reactor Hellions. What you really want reactor Hellions for is to stop the creep from spreading beyond the bottom of this ramp, and there's 4 creep tumors at the bottom of the ramp. So this creep is going to get out on the map, regardless of what he tries to do here.
Yeah, and he's going to see these queens and kind of just be pissed He already sees the creep from
He's going
the.
to see the queens and pause the game.
He already sees the creep from the Zelnaga tower, and I'm curious as to what he's going to do with it because
what he's going to do with it is make cloak banshees.
Yeah, seems a logical step.
Well, when you're making like these 4 and 6 queen type openings, you usually skip gas. But here we see Stephano.
He's got
just
4
kidding. Just kidding. I'm making gas, and I'm not planning to take a third. I'm planning to do a 2 base type timing, which is incredibly strong if you can catch the opponent before their economy 2 base kicks in. But it's going to be not so much luck for him. So we're going to see this whole clash of 2 base play, I think.
Well, MVP's building a 3rd command center right now. He just scanned both of Stephano's bases, and he saw all the gas that is there, and the non-tech structures. Well, he saw the Roach Warren, I guess. But other than that, it's really it's about, I think it's about a set of mind games is about to come up.
Yeah, this is just MVP being confident in his macro play. He's not afraid of these Roach Baneling type attacks, Roach Baneling timings, I guess, or even just a Roach 1/1 attack or any Roach attack at all. Which is weird because he doesn't have an overly abundant amount of Marauders or Siege Tanks. He's going to rely on the only really good unit he has against Roaches is the Banshees.
This is such a weird SimCity going on in his main base. Now he moves the factory down. Okay, that makes sense. Hydralisk then actually coming down for Stephano. He's the first one to start using Hydras recently in Wings of Liberty, like a lot. Like his Roach play, which is very consistent for Stephano. He's a very heavy Roach user, much like Violet, but he's a bit more stylish than Violet, and Violet goes for the more standard mechanic Roach play. But he's thrown in a lot more Hydras in recent games. I've watched him.
Well, Blizzard intended for you to be able to choose between Spire Tech and Infestors and Hydralisks. But for most of the game to this point, Hydralisk hasn't been a viable choice. But here we see Stephano. I mean, he's making it somewhat reasonable just with this creep spread. This creep spread we're seeing in this game is incredible. He's got it almost halfway across the map already, and we're 10 minutes in. With creep spread, you can use Hydralisks. I mean, given that kind of goes away in Wings of Liberty, or Heart of the Swarm, because you can get Hydralisk speed, and that makes him viable without it. But this isn't Heart of the Swarm. This is Wings of Liberty, and Stephano is gonna use Hydralisks.
Finally, MVP, why did you just cloak your Banshees all the way out? Oh, I guess he's gonna lose them to these 2 Hydralisks, 4 Hydralisks.
2 or 4, or maybe they're 5. I don't know. Counting is hard.
Jerk.
Here we see the Infestation Pit about to finish.
A huge lead in supply right now for Stephano, and those high DPS Hydralisks is going to take out those Hellions in quick fashion, sniping off that tank, and all these pulled SCVs are going to get smoked by, well, I guess the Hydralisk. But they are killing off the Roaches to great effect, and the supply is just
done
dipping.
well. And that missile turret actually did a good number on the Overseer. That allowed the Banshee to do more damage than it probably should have, but he got the next Overseer in there in really good time to make it so that he could keep fighting. And makes MVP abandon this 3rd base for the time being. He's going to get that out of there and land it back in the natural and remake SCVs, because he's lost a whole bunch of SCVs. Stephano's killed 35 SCVs at this point.
Yeah, 8, 6, and 4 are the kill counts on his current Hydralisks with a 60 supply lead. He's just going to reinforce with a bunch of Roaches and bust this front, give these Siege Tanks something else to shoot at while his Hydralisks keep killing stuff. Well, I guess not anymore.
He's going to
snipe off this tank and
focus these Siege Tanks, but he's going to lose what he has here.
He's got 5 more Roaches coming in the back to snipe off these Hellions and keep punching at these SCVs. Get out of range of that bunker, and
the Marauder in that bunker is making a big difference. Right? You don't think it, but well, obviously any unit in a bunker gets extra range, but Marauders do way too much damage against anything that's armored. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
And Stephano puts down a 4th base right now. I think MVP, what are you going to do, bro? I mean, you're on 2 bases against the 4-basing Zerg, and you're 70 supply down.
Not to mention, Stephano has 3/3 starting right now, which is leaps and bounds against the 1/1 starting for MVP's mech units, and he's trying to mech on 1.5 bases. Well, there's like 600 mules at his natural, so it's kind of like 2.5 bases, but yeah.
Would you classify this as a build order loss for MVP?
Well, I guess he wasn't ready for the amount of pressure that those few roaches and the extra hydralisks did.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. Like before that, the Queens just stopped his early reactive Hellions, and then he just kept on moving into mech, even though he was at a disadvantage already.
I don't think that the Queen stopping the early Hellions was the problem, though. He didn't really super commit to making those Hellions early. I think the problem came when he tried to expand so fast and not really set adequate defenses at the 3rd. He had the wall and the bunkers ready at the natural, but he didn't really have anything like that set up at the 3rd base. He had like 1 missile turret and a couple of siege tanks, and that just wasn't enough to deal with what he had. And
huge split from Stephano.
Yeah, he's just attacking in again, much the same way. I mean, MVP has a whole buttload of siege tanks who may hold this attack, but then again, they might not. I can't really tell yet. He just
there's just tap out from MVP. He was on the back foot for the whole game, but
he was getting further behind, just holding these attacks on his 2nd base. So he knew that he couldn't go on like that. And good game. Let's go see what happens the next.
Got it, man. From Chaotic TV, I'm KO.
And this is Eclipse.
And we'll see you soon. Cheers.